All right, good afternoon, everybody, and good morning to anyone on the West Coast time there, or even Mountain time. We're going to go ahead and get started. It's at the top of the hour here. We have 30 minutes set for this. I'm guessing I can actually see certain people are still joining, but we'll get going. This webinar is going to be about the fulfillment process, specifically talking about picking and shipping with ScanForce programs here. So let's get right into it. Let me get my slides advancing. So a quick agenda we'll go over here is we're going to do our typical ScanForce intro. We're going to talk quickly about license plating, as that is a key component that we have customers using to expedite their shipping and picking processes. We're going to also talk a little bit about some advanced options that we have related to picking and shipping, and then end up talking in detail about directed picking and how allocations play into that, and then show you guys a quick demo of this. So some of the intro screens, if any of you have joined our webinars in the past, based on who we sent this invite out to, we should have a good mix of Sage and ScanForce partners, as well as customers and even prospects, people looking at using our software here. I say that because a lot of you have probably already attended some of our webinars, and this might be a little bit of a repeat for you guys, but for anybody viewing this once it's on YouTube and whatnot, we like to hit on these. The bottom line is this screen or slide right here talks about the fact that what ScanForce does, which is mobile development, specifically for seamless integration into ERP systems like Sage 100, and that we've been doing this for a while. This isn't a solution that was developed overnight. We have quite a bit of installs, as well as some notable customers using a mobile platform like Penske Trucks, FedEx, Whirlpool, MTV, and so on. I also, even though we're focusing primarily on shipping and picking functionality that relates to our WMS program, I want to touch on what else we do. So first and foremost, WMS. We do have three, we like to refer to them as flavors of ScanForce, from I'll call it entry level, pretty standard, straightforward transactions, to advanced and all the way up to premium that gets pretty advanced here. We also have mobile sales, which is the creation of orders on the mobile device. You're creating sales orders, invoices, quotes, even credit memos right from a mobile device. And a lot of people are using these in like trade show environments, or if you have a mobile sales force out there, or I'm sorry, a sales force out there in the field, they could benefit from using the ability to create orders on a mobile device. This is a great fit. You can print orders or invoices. You can email them. There's credit card processing integration and even signature capture. Label printing, that's kind of the unsung hero of all these solutions, the ability to actually get barcodes on your products. So whether it's at receiving, if you manufacture items, or on the outbound side, if you have customers that need specific details on the products going out, we can print labels. So on the shipping side, you can even print from within Sage too. So label printing is a key component of what we offer. And then manufacturing. We've done a few webinars on manufacturing, so I encourage you to check those out if you haven't. But everything from bill of materials to we have a make to order, creating work tickets directly from sales order, to automation of production management transactions. And we also support work order. Now, the last slide of these intro slides just talks about what makes ScanForce different from other solutions on the market. One is speed. So we set up years ago now, we've actually joked about doing a 2 million record challenge, but we set this up where we imported in 1 million records. And it took quite a bit of time to get those into Sage. And then when ScanForce references that type of data, it's less than 0.03 of a second as far as that return rate of, is this the right item, lookups, things along those lines. And that's important because on a mobile app, it has to be fast, right? You can't have people out on your shop floor or in your warehouse that are thinking about waiting for a return of a validation rate on that. It needs to be quick. It needs to be easy to use, which leads me into the intuitive side of our programs. Having a solution that makes it so that someone's not sitting out there, as I have here, asking themselves, what do I do next? That's important. It has to be an easy to use solution that's intuitive, asking for the data in a clear and concise manner. The last one is really one of the most important parts that sets ScanForce apart, which is our support crew. So that's not just everybody that's supporting the solution if you were to call or email in, but it's also our development team that we all do in-house. So we're not farming this out. If there's an issue or a customization that needs to be made to accommodate your specific needs, we're extremely agile in that, and we can handle that all in-house. Now, one of the first things I mentioned in the agenda here that we're going to cover is the license plating and pallet tracking solution that we've offered now. So what is this? So it's really the ability to group items together. So you're able to put a bunch of items on a pallet. Maybe you receive items in that are all grouped together already, or maybe you're building those on the receiving side of things, but you're able to group them together and you're able to link them with a specific pallet or license plate ID. And that's a barcoded tag that goes on the pallets then. So it allows you to do transactions by simply scanning a simple barcode. So if we go through the bullet points listed here, one of the added benefits of doing this is you get the visibility back in your Sage system of what items are all grouped together. So this could be the same item with a bunch of different serialized numbers together, or lot numbers, or several different items all grouped together. They're not only linked together by like a bin location, for example, but also a pallet ID. So you can group like items together. So if again you have a certain item that has several lot numbers together, or expiration dates or serial numbers, put them all together on one pallet, and boom, you can scan one tag. You're also able to capture now telling you all the items. Again, if it's the same item, all the serial numbers, all the lot numbers, and all the quantities too. And one of the first things I mentioned related to this is the ability to leverage single scan technology. So you're able to scan, instead of just an item, you could scan items, but you can also scan a pallet ID tag, and that grabs all that information for you with one simple scan. Why is this used? So what problems does this solve? So if you have multiple items grouped together, you can have them all linked together. If it's the same item, you have lot numbers, serial numbers, expiration dates all tied together. And what links into what we're going to get into today here is the ability to stage items together. So when you're actually picking or staging a sales order, you can group these items together by a pallet ID tag. Then when they're going actually officially out the door, you can do that single scan that I mentioned a minute ago to get them packed or shipped out the door. Another use of this that we see some companies use is the ability to use this as almost a unit of measure. So you can have items that are tracked in Sage 100 by eaches, but now you've built them together by a pallet, and now you can go ahead and manage those as a pallet or grouped items together. For today, what we're going to talk about is where it's used. So it's used in a list of different areas of WMS, from receiving to manufacturing, transferring, counting. But for today, we're going to talk about this as it relates to picking or shipping. So you can do pre-allocations, which we're going to get into here in a minute, by pallet. That staging I talked about, you can build pallets as you stage an order, or you can simply just go scan a pallet and get it out the door. So it becomes extremely efficient to leverage items grouped together. Now, let's talk for a second about what's required to use pallets or license plating. So if you're on our WMS Premium solution, you're able to use it. It does leverage multi-bin advanced and multi-bin basic, and labeling is necessary as you have to print out a pallet ID tag for this. Moving on, we're going to talk a little bit about the advanced pick, pack, and ship. So one of the first things I want to do is touch on definitions. So what am I talking about when I reference these things? Sales order picking or ScanForce, that's just where we're talking about staging orders. So that is, I want to get my order. I want to go ahead and go make sure the right items are grabbed, the correct quantities, lot serial numbers, and I don't want to create my invoice yet, but I want to get ready to go out the door. So that's our sales order picking. Once an order has been picked, so it's been staged, now you need to do the checking and packing, and that's where you're going to go ahead and grab staged orders and get them out the door. The last one is what I refer to as our one-step method. This is sales order shipping. This is just, I have an order, I need to get it out the door, I don't need to stage it, I just want to go ahead and ship it. All right, so let's talk about one of our advanced methods here. So one way that we find our customers become extremely efficient is leveraging split picking. So what is it? It's separation of a sales order based on predetermined criteria. So if I have a large sales order and I want to have multiple people out there picking it, I don't want them questioning, do I go get this item or did somebody else get that? We split it out so that each picker knows exactly what they're supposed to get. So it's used when you have a large number of line items. So if I have an order that has 50 line items, I can split that, for example, by number of pickers. So it would split a 50 line order into 2 orders to pick. Well, let me clarify, 2 picking sheets of 25 each. And it allows you to have multiple pickers working on that same order at the exact same time. Companies that need this are businesses that do large scale orders for one customer, as an example. So again, I have one customer, they have a ton of line items on their sales order, I want to split it out and get it out the door. You can split that into multiple people picking it. So kind of on the opposite side of this, instead of having one large order, maybe you have a bunch of small orders you want to group together. So that's what wave picking is. It's the grouping of sales orders into a single pick. You would use this if you have a bunch of orders that at the same time you want to walk the warehouse and go pick them all. So if I'm a single person picking orders out there and somebody gives me 5 orders to go pick, well, I'm going to go ahead and want to pick those all at one time. I don't want to go walk my warehouse 5 separate times. The other side of this would be is if I just have a high volume of sales orders. So maybe I have a bunch of people out there picking, but all my orders come in with 1 line item, maybe 2 line items. There's just a ton of orders that come in through the day. Again, the whole concept stays the same, which is I want to walk my warehouse one time, get all my items picked, and get them ready to be shipped out the door. Now we're going to get into some additional details here related to directed picking. So some of you on here that are ScanForce customers may use this. What this is it's the ability to, on the mobile device, tell the picker where to go and what you need to get. The driving force behind this, so what determines all of this, is the multi-bin solution that we provide and the pre-allocation of the items from a particular bin. So there's a lot of methods available to get into how you do those pre-allocations, but that's what drives it. So let's talk for a second about what the allocations are. So this happens at sales order, on the sales order level. So it's the reservation of items by locations within the warehouse, and that bin location is tied to the line item of each item on that sales order. So again, you're reserving items by locations in your warehouse. Okay, so this is where now we say we have not just a sales order and we have a quantity that's reserved as it's no longer available because it's on an order, but it's actually saying you have to go and you have to get it out of this particular location and this quantity. Now, there's 2 types of allocations that we're going to get into as far as the discussion points are here. One is automatic allocations. You don't have to always go through and manually do this. You don't have to go into the sales order. You don't have to go line by line and indicate bin locations. It can automatically happen. The other side of this is the concept of pre-allocating items. So that's before you're going to go deal with this order, you want to go ahead and allocate those items and quantities to a particular location before you're out there picking it. So let's talk about pre-allocations. So you have some options as far as when this is triggered. The 4 options listed are at sales order entry. So when you're creating a sales order and you put an item on a line there, it can automatically look and say, okay, great. I'm going to go ahead and allocate this particular line at this moment, which means at the time you create your order, that item and that quantity is reserved to be picked for that order. The other option would be is at picking sheet printing. So this doesn't have to be physically printing the sheet off. This could simply just be a print preview. And the idea behind this versus a allocation or pre-allocation at sales order entry is I may not know what items I want to reserve at this moment at the creation of this order. Maybe a more important customer comes along the line after I've created this first order. So I don't want it reserved for customer A. I really want it reserved for customer B. So if you do it at picking sheet printing, then when I'm ready to get that order out the door, that's when I can do my picking sheet printing. That's when it'll do the allocations. Another option would be at the time the receipt of goods is created. So if you have orders that are sitting there waiting for quantity to be available, at the time you do your receiving, and let's say you're scanning that with ScanForce, then it comes back, even if you're using auto post, it'll post the receipt of goods, look to see what orders that item is tied to, and it'll do that pre-allocation and reserve it for it right there at receipt of goods. The last, and I would say probably the most popular option, is triggering that pre-allocation to occur from the scanner. So this doesn't happen until somebody says on the device, I'm going to go pick order 1, 2, 3. When that happens, boom, it connects up, does the pre-allocations. So that's as real time as you can get as far as I'm going to pick this order and go do the pre-allocations. Now, there's different methods to this. So we're talking about a minute ago, the trigger points to create the automatic allocations. The methods to do that would be by receipt date, so the date the item came in. If you want to do it by lot serial or expiration date, this allows you to do true first in, first out type tracking of inventory. There's also our option, it's an add-on called case pack allocations, and this would look, if you track items by a case pack, but maybe you sometimes have some eaches that need to also be allocated there, it would look to your case pack locations to allocate first, and then if it can't completely fulfill that order, it would go on to the other bin locations to go get the eaches. There's also allocations by bin locations, and that's where the screenshot comes into play here. You can actually, with our multi-bin, set up primary and overflow or overstock bins, and there are 5 options for picking locations and then also an overstock. The methods for setting up pre-allocations can look to your primary bin, go through a list of order there of bins, and then go to overstock if necessary. If you only have one primary bin and overstock, that's fine, it would skip over them, but you can actually set that by the style or type of bin location too. Now, once we've staged orders, there are some what we call quick ship options. So we've now staged the order, we want to get it out the door. Some of our customers want to go through each individual item. They want to package them up into different packages with shipping data entry. Other customers say, great, I already have it staged. I know it's accurate. I know it's right. I just want to now record that it's a shipping data entry transaction and complete the order. So we have 2 methods for that. The first is InstaShip. So it's basically referred to as a one-click order ship. And it also stages orders, or I'm sorry, orders that have been staged are instantly categorized now as shipped. And what this is you launch it on the mobile device, and then you simply say, I want to get order, again, 1, 2, 3 out. Boom, that's it. That's all the data entry you need to do. It's going to go ahead and categorize everything as shipped and create the shipping data entry transaction. Ship all is a little different in the sense where that would be the ability to pull up an order and then indicate that all lines have been shipped. So some of our customers are grabbing items that they want to ensure are going out. Maybe they didn't stage them with the serial numbers ahead of time, so now they're capturing lot or serial numbers, and those are only for a few items. The rest of the items, yep, we're good to go. Let's go ahead and say ship all. It'll categorize all the remaining lines as shipped. So it just speeds up that process of shipping. This is an announcement that you'll be seeing more information about. So we've always talked about the whole pick, pack, and ship. Yet in reality, it falls a little short because it doesn't truly ship the orders. We do the pick, pack, and then get it back to shipping data entry, and that's where typically our customers are pulling up Starship and completing it. This new integration is going to allow you to truly complete this process right from within the mobile program. So what you do is you have your package details that are defined within Starship. So I have package A, package B, maybe large carton, small carton, whatever it would be, and you're able to indicate what package you're dealing with so that all the details, all the dimensions related to that package are automatically categorized and brought onto the mobile device. Then you group the items together. Very similar to standard shipping data entry, but now we're dealing with this on a package detail level related to shipping. So what items are all going into each package or box. Starship handles all those details related to the actual shipping side of things. So again, you're still using Starship. You're just triggering all this to happen from the mobile device. And then the labels will automatically print out. So you no longer have to go back to a PC to complete your shipping process. It's all done within the mobile program. So that is in a beta release form from now through the end of the year. And you will see a formal release of this after the first of the year. So if anybody is interested in that, please contact us. We can go ahead and show you guys the solution. We can walk you through it, get your pricing on it, everything else. And the big, massive release, you'll see another webinar coming up in January that's going to actually highlight and showcase how this solution actually looks and works. All right, so let's get into a demo. Let's show you guys some of the screens here. So what I have up on my screen here is an emulation of our mobile app. So I'm moving that around a little bit so you guys can see this. Anyone using our software knows this is the way the app looks. No matter what type of device you launch it on, this is what it looks like. There is a login, doesn't take up any licensing on the Sage side or anything, so I'm just going to hit accept. And now this is my main menu. What I want to show you guys here is the picking process as it relates to the directed picking that we talked about. A couple of things I want to point out really quickly, though, is I'm going to go back to my Sage system really quickly here. I'll pull up item maintenance, pull up a sample item. Here's my item 6655 to access multi-bin. I'm going to double click on my warehouse. And this now shows me all the bin locations that this item is in. Now you'll notice there's 2 here for staging. So this is related to a pallet ID. So this is staged for another order. Here's another one here. But you can see the quantities associated with this. So the standard staging here has a quantity of 5 in it, and I have my main bin locations. That's important because when we stage an order, a couple of things happen here. One, I have it pre-allocated with certain bin locations. So that's going to go ahead and tell me where to go. Then once I pick it, it reallocates that or updates the allocation on the sales order to now reflect my bin that I staged it to. And it'll update the quantities here back in item maintenance or item inquiry. So I'm going to pull up a sales order also. I want to show you guys those fields. Go down and grab, here's an order. These people don't look like they pay their bills. We'll ignore that for right now. So here is one of my items. When I click on the bins here, it's already been pre-allocated. So it's telling me back at the sales order level here that I need to go get out of the 15 on this order. I'm going to go to bin A110 and get 10 of them. And I'm going to also then, because I didn't, for whatever reason here, could be just dates of items, receipt dates. I now need to also go to A120 and get the remaining 5. But that's the bins that it's been pre-allocated to. So let's actually pull up the order here on the device. So I'm going to go into order processing, and I'm going to go into sales order picking. I'm going to grab my order, which could be barcoded. So anything that you see me indicating here as I drive with the mouse that you could scan, you're going to want to scan it. So if you have a printed off picking sheet, you can scan that. You also could look it up. It's accessing my Sage 100 data real time. I could search for my customer by customer name or order number. I also could scroll and find my order right here. Now, when I hit accept, our solution is connecting up real time, and it grabs the data for that order and places it locally on the device so that it becomes a truly mobile solution, meaning if I lose my connectivity, I still have data on the device, data validation, data lookups, everything, so I'm not stuck, even though I may have fallen out of wireless connectivity. So with multi-bin and the picking here, the first thing it wants to know is, where are you staging this to? So what's my pick to location, which as you can see can be defaulted. I have a staging bin set up. It's just a virtual bin. That's where I want to stage all my orders to. Hit accept, and you'll see it list out those items now. So as the user, I see I need to first go to A110, and it also not only does that pre-allocation, but on the mobile device, it sorts them for me. So I'm walking my warehouse one time in the most efficient way possible. Excuse me. So you'll see I have to go to A110. I'm grabbing item 6655. Then I go to A120, also grab 6655 and continue on. At the top here, I have my license plating enabled, so I could build a pallet or a license plate as I'm picking. We're not going to do that today. We have other webinars that you guys can look at and check that out, but that's an option there when you're doing picking. If you're not doing anything with license plating, you wouldn't see this at all, so you don't have to worry about users seeing information that's not pertinent to what they need to capture. So I'm going to click on this. Most often you would scan this and it will validate that for me. So I'm going to grab my first item, indicate my location, confirm my quantity, continue on. You'll see that drops off. Okay, so as you pick items from certain locations, they drop off. Now I will show you, if I put in a random item number here, there is that validation once again. So you're making sure you're grabbing the correct items and information here. We'll grab our next item, grab our location, and continue on. Now, once we're done, let's grab this last item. We send our data back over to our Sage system. If I happen to be disconnected at this point, you're not going to lose data. It's just going to store it on the device. You can send it back later. Connects up, though, for me, so it sends it back. Now, what happens here is we have not created any invoices or anything else. That's that checking and packing side of this. What it did do, though, is back in the sales order side of this, we'll pull up that order we were just in a minute ago. We'll ignore the wrong credit. Hold again. We'll go to the lines here. When I click on this line and go to the bin distribution field here, you'll see now it's updated the order, so it's reserved from my staging location. So it knows that it's no longer in those original bin locations. It's updated this back on the sales order, so it knows that it's in staging. Furthermore, it instantly moved those items too. So they no longer exist in those original bins. It automatically moves them. So when I go into my item maintenance here, pull up my warehouse. Previously, we just had the 5 of that particular item in the staging bin. Now we have 20. So it keeps everything real time for you. So you not only see your available quantities, what you have in inventory, but you also see now how it's tied to a particular order. So if I even go to allocations here, you'll see it knows what order this is on. So there's 2 orders that make up that total quantity there. And we have them listed right here, but you get that detailed visibility. And from an operational standpoint, it also allows you to control what orders are being staged and what orders are now ready to go out. So at this point, from a timing standpoint, we're not going to show you this, but from this point, you could pull it up then, do that insta-ship, quick ship that I was talking about, or go through and do the details of what items are being packaged together, and even link that into your Starship solution so you can go ahead and print out shipping labels. All right, so I want to open it up for any questions that may be out there. Again, I appreciate you guys taking your time to watch and listen to this today. Are there any questions?
Not yet.
All right, that either means I've confused everybody or we lost everybody. All right, so I'll take this minute to just let everybody know if you guys want to see this in more detail or anything else that I maybe mentioned and didn't show today, contact us. Here's our contact info up there. info@scanforce.com is a great way to reach out to us. We can walk you guys through that. If you guys have some of these options within your ScanForce solution already and maybe want to just explore, are you leveraging all the features and functionality related to the allocations and everything else, contact us. We're happy to connect up and make sure that you guys are getting the most out of your solution. And again, if you're interested in adding these things, let us know as well. All right, Darcy, any questions coming up?
Still no questions.
All right, going once, going twice. If there aren't any questions, we'll go ahead and wrap this up.
We got one. Okay,
Right.
someone was asking for a copy of the video. So we'll send this out to all the attendees. So yes, we will get you a copy, absolutely.
All right, and everybody that's still on, again, please be on the lookout. This is kind of a part 1 of 2 in terms of our overall pick, pack, ship offerings. The second part is going to be that integration with Starship. We're really excited about that, and Starship is as well. They're going to be joining us on that. There's going to be a lot of information coming out about it. It really kind of closes that gap from the pick, pack, ship that has been missing. All right, thanks everybody. Looking forward to hearing from you if you have any questions.